All right, your feedback on the Portland Trailblazers back half of the season. 43 games gone, which means that 39 remain. After today, it'll be 38. They have the Orlando Magic tonight in Orlando.
Yeah, and Franz appears to be questionable, which
Franz Wagner.
I really wanted to watch some Franz.
Well,
don't worry, Paolo will give it to him.
Maybe Hans will be there?
I am Hans, and I am Franz. We're here to pump
you up. Listen to me now and believe me later.
Listen sometime soon. Where are the Blazers? How about everybody 1 through 5 is questionable with back soreness and listed as day-to-day? How about Chauncey lets me go play the 1 for the rest of the season? Let's be smart about this. Danny's been telling us to wait till March, but I don't think we can afford to do that.
As much as everybody wants to draw
B1 Rufio. Rufio at point guard would be something. I think we'd have a height disadvantage
Everybody wants to do like what the Wizards are doing. That's fine if you want to get rid of every single one of the players.
There is a way to do it because tanking can culturally put you in a place that is very hard to get back out of. Like
it's not impossible.
The true tank.
But like as I'm saying,
really
when you go Philly process or what the Wizards are doing right now,
or what the Pistons tried to look how long it's taken the Pistons to get out of this thing.
And that's why you're leery of just pulling the plug on everything to start the season, because it doesn't just affect the players. It affects the support staff. It affects the front office. Mm-hmm. It affects the medical. Like it impacts everyone. Everybody's like, well, it doesn't matter. Be blunt, screw you.
Well,
because it does. It does. These are people. You can't just be like, you know what? We're going to chew you up and spit you out, and you don't matter because me as a fan, I get what I want. Mm-hmm. And that's not the real world. It's you can't do that.
It's just how franchises that in the NFL, look, the NBA may have the G League, but that is not a developmental league.
It's like incubator for guys to get some run.
The NFL, teams that chase quarterback, they continue to be bad because it rips apart your culture trying to tell guys who are playing for contracts moving forward that you don't matter.
Yep.
And we are going to intentionally lose, right? In Major League Baseball, tanking worked at such an extreme level.
They had to redo the draft.
Because they did, where you can't be in the lottery for back-to-back years or you're going to get bumped down. See the White Sox this past year, right? But it worked in baseball because you had a minor league system where you could hold all of these guys back and say, our big league club, it's going to suck, but our culture is going to be damn strong.
It's going to come up and
single
groom
A
together.
all the way through AAA, and these guys are going to grow as professionals, and then we're going to start filtering them in over time, and we're going to get better at the big league club.
And bring a couple veterans in to help kind of solidify
that
things.
Is how like baseball was able to do it, and it ran so rampant, they were like, we need to fix this.
Yes. And the problem is in the NBA, you can't just do that. But the flip side, and this is not to say, like, the Spurs are a bad example because the Spurs culture is Spurs culture, but that Spurs culture also led to a period of absolutely objectively awful basketball before they got Wemby. Mm-hmm. Things didn't change because of the Spurs culture. Things changed because they got a generational prospect. And when you get a prospect who is wired like Wemby, that's the thing is, you can have the talent, Zion. You can have the talent and fail.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the talent and the culture to go with it, which is why you want a guy like Cooper, which is why you want a guy like Dylan Harper, because they're wired differently to go with the talent. And if you get one of those guys, it can pull you out.
Are the Blazers ever going to be on TV like they said they would? I thought after January 1, they would be on YouTube TV. That text coming in.
Yeah, that was a situation between Sinclair and YouTube, and it appears that there was a misreading or misunderstanding of contractual language, and ball was dropped. Look, and that's my employer, so... Look, I'm not thrilled about it.
That sucks.
But they are working to resolve it. It is something that the Blazers have nothing to do with it. For everybody who's wondering, this is wholly and solely between Sinclair and YouTube, and I think both sides are motivated. But also, YouTube is in a position where they don't look at individual teams; they look at whole leagues. So there just this is the same situation that is happening in Phoenix because they have the over-the-air broadcast as well, and they may just be waiting to kind of group a bunch of them together. So. It might be something that ultimately ends up being out of Sinclair's hands.
Here's a text that says, I find it uncomfortable watching a team I cannot figure out what they're trying to be. At least with OKC, from the jump, you could see what they were trying to build, what identity they wanted. When will the Blazers start showing that?
You're lying through your teeth. if you say that you knew what OKC was doing when they said, Paul George, go. Russell Westbrook, go. Please figure this out. They got a nice prospect back in SGA, and they hoped and prayed.
Yeah.
That's not knowing. You're crazy if you think that's like
their GM made a bunch of moves though, savvy moves, compiled a bunch of draft picks, really sold off everything for first-round picks that were not going to be
selling
good.
two in prime Hall of Fame players is a really, really good way to get a lot of assets.
Well, yeah, but
like that, but that's what everybody wants to take out of this. Like, yeah, if you traded Dame 2 years before they got traded, probably would have got a metric crap ton for him. And I think both player and organization probably wishes they would have.
There was a facet of Blazers fan base that was asking for that too. You know,
sure,
they absolutely were in the moment, in the time, saying no, we're not going to get over the hump because there was so little faith in Neil O'Shea.
Yes.
But I think Neil O'Shea also had a lot to do with that, in that he was like, I am going to make this work. I am going to prove myself right, and he didn't do it.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Now, Cronin has got some draft capital they got back. You got to turn it into something though, and you got to start doing it in relatively short order.